Okay, this is for Tuesday, June 2nd. So we're solving the equations represented using algebra tiles. Now, I know you don't have algebra tiles at home, so I'm just going to draw them so it will match the same as yours. So it says match the equation and solution found on page 23. So if you flip up a few pages, you're going to see this page that has all of this on there. So each one is going to be your equation and your solution. You'll even see it's separated. I believe it is separated by page. So to do the first one, we have an x and two negatives. So it's x and two negatives equals 6 positives. So you can either do x minus 2, or if you want to, you could do x plus negative 2 equals positive 6. So you can have that minus there if you like. It is helpful because we want to undo it, because the negative 2 is what we want to get rid of, because we want to get x alone. So we're going to add a positive and a positive 1. So whatever you do to this side, to keep it balanced, we have to do it over here. So we're adding 2 over here. Now we can zero these 2 out. 0 pair is 0 pair, because a negative and a positive equals 1. So got rid of those. So now on this side, we're only left with the x, your equal sign, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 positives. On the next problem, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives. So this is negative 6 equals 1, 2, 3, 4 positives and an x. We're always combining in math, so it's always addition plus x. So our equation, negative 6 equals 4 plus x. Now we want to get x alone. So these positive 4 here, we want to get rid of them. And so we need to do the opposite, the 0 pair. So I'm going to just do a negative like that. So a negative cancels those, a negative cancels those, a negative cancels those, and a negative cancels those. So if we put 4 negatives over here, then we need to put 4 negatives over here. And then these can cancel out, cancel out, cancel out, and this one cancels out with that one. So we're left with 2 negatives, and we're left with x. So negative 2 equals x. Now I'm going to do many of these a little bit different, because we learned different ways of explaining it. So if it sounds different, we have the same concept behind each one. So on here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 x's. So you can write it as 4 x's, because remember, we're always adding. Plus, plus, and a plus, but repeated addition is multiplication. So you can either count 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, the same as we count 16 positives, or you can do x plus x plus x plus x and then simplify it. Now, because we're going to take this, and multiplication always is groups of something. So one way to do it is you have 16 here, and you want to make how many groups can we get? So we have 16, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have another one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We can put 4 into each group. Another way, if you're a visual person, you can see we have 4 groups here, and we have 4 equal stacks here. So you can either redistribute it, or you can identify the 4 equal stacks. So in each stack is 4. So 4 equals x. On the last one on that page, we've got x and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. So it's x plus 5 negatives is 2 x's. There's 2 negatives. So it can be written x minus 5 equals negative 2. So remember, we're always adding, so we can just turn it into minus 5 instead of plus negative 5. Now again, to get x by itself, we want to go ahead and get rid of all of these. So how to get rid of a -1 is that we want to put positives on there to cancel them out. So I've got 5 negatives, I put on 5 positives. So now we got rid of all of those. And over here, we still got to put the 5 positives over here. And we've got a positive or negative, those 0 out, those 0 out. So we're left with 3 positives. So x equals 3. On your next problem, we have a -x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positives. So just -x equals 7. So on here, we want to get positive x. This is it's a little bit something extra. So basically what we want to do is if we want the opposite of this, we need to get the opposite of that. So instead of having 7 positives, we're going to have to do 7 negatives. So we're dividing it by a negative. So your answer is going to be x equals -7. This is actually a 7th grade advanced. And since this is the week that we were lost when we closed school, that's okay if that did not make any sense to you. We'll cover it next year. This next one, we have x, 1, 2, 3 positives. So it's x plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives equals -7. So again, we want to get x by itself. So we want to move these 3 x's over here. So it's negative, negative, negative. So these 0 out. So we're going to put a negative, negative, negative. So these 0 out. So now we're left with x equals 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. Here we've got a -1 and an x. That's -1 plus x, because x is positive, equals 1, 2, 3, 4 positives. So we want to get x alone. So instead of having a -1, we're going to put a +1 there to 0 out. To keep it balanced, we put a +1 there, and they will 0 out. Oh, sorry, they don't 0 out because they're positive as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And what's left on the left is still an x, so x equals 5. We are going to skip this problem because, again, we're not dealing with the negative x's. We did not get to anything like that this year. And then here, negative, 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 negative. We've got 8 negatives, so -8, 2 negatives and an x, 2 negatives and it's a plus an x. So again, we want to get x alone, so we want to put the opposite to get rid of the -2. So we add a +2, they 0 out, and we add +2 over here, they 0 out. So we're left with 6 negatives. -6 equals x.